It's like they just found a turbo boost. A lap time of 0:51.274 is no joke, especially with that major improvement of 1.3 seconds. They're on fire today. Keep it rolling. Haha, right? The pit stops can totally spice things up. It's like a NASCAR movie out there, minus the slow motion replays. Just remember to keep your wheels straight when entering. Erasalo. Neo Texum takes an early lead with some impressive acceleration off the line. Okayoki 3 is right on his tail, delivering a solid performance. Aetion 1792 is holding strong in third, but will need to pick up the pace if they want a shot at the podium. Let's see how they tackle the first turn. Aetion 1792 and Missouri's Guy are locked in a tight battle for third place, with neither driver getting an inch. Meanwhile, Captain Potato from Team Racing Potatoes has successfully moved up to 5th position after overtaking Rizaldi Adhada. Now, Captain Potato and Rizaldi Adha are engaged in a close fight for that 5th spot, with both cars jockeying for position. The race dynamics are heating up as these drivers push their limits. Winserious Guy has advanced to P3 after successfully overtaking Aetion 1792. The battle for Pate is heating up, with Sirairenbot from Team Death Robots maneuvering his Mercedes-Benz 125 against Greningib from Team Also No Name Racing in an auto-union type. Meanwhile, Greningib is also engaged in a close fight for P9 with Garnet Rod, who is also piloting a Mercedes-Benz 125. Winserious Guy has successfully moved into P3, having overtaken Aetion 1792. The battle between them is heating up as they jockey for position. Meanwhile, Greningib in the Auto Union Type D is engaged in a close contest with Sirairenbot, who is piloting the Mercedes-Benz 125, both fighting for Pate. The dynamics are shifting as these car pairs continue to push each other hard on the track. Aetion 1792, and Wiziri Sky continue their intense battle for third place, tightly contested with frequent position changes. Meanwhile, Greninja has successfully moved up to 8th place after overtaking Garnet Rod. Now, they are engaged in a close fight for that 8th position, with Greninja in the Auto Union Type D and Garnet Rod in the Mercedes-Benz 125. The race dynamics are heating up as both drivers strive for every advantage on the track. Looks like some celebration in the chat. Oh Zevin to all the racers out there. It's heating up at Monza Vintage Oval. Who do you think will pull ahead next? Haha. Looks like your car is having a bit of an identity crisis. Don't worry, it happens to the best of us. Just keep cheering it on and maybe it'll get its act together. Wees with steer sois, auf joy checkered flag. Andreak has made a significant move, overtaking 4 cars and advancing to position 23. Sireneva follows suit, also passing 4 competitors, which places them in position 26. Meanwhile, Ferrer 23 is climbing the ranks even faster, overtaking 5 cars to reach position 27. The race dynamics are shifting with these rapid advancements. Public 3 has advanced to P12, successfully overtaking Polo Kostanin in a tight battle. Both competitors are driving classic Mercedes models, with Hugger 3 piloting a 125 and Pol Kostanin in a 154. Meanwhile, Ayanthakrabi has gained ground, moving up to 16 after overtaking Drenone. The race continues to show dynamic positioning changes. OKOP3 has taken the lead, moving into pole after successfully overtaking Neotexum. The battle for 17 is heating up between Drenone and Ayanthakrabi, with both cars closely vying for position. Meanwhile, Fer 23 has gained ground, advancing to P26 after overtaking Babardo. Cedric and Koki Binety are currently neck and neck for 10th position, with both drivers making aggressive moves in the corners. Kamikaze 38 in the Mercedes-Benz 154 is closely pursuing Andravake in the Auto Union Type D for 22nd place. with some tight maneuvering happening on the straights. Meanwhile, Lord of the Jungle from Team, also No Name Racing, is engaged in a fierce duel with Kitsune Draco, who is also in a Mercedes-Benz 154 for 30th position. The Alfa Romeo 12 is putting up a strong fight, but Kitsune Draco is looking to capitalize on any mistakes. The race dynamics are heating up as these battles unfold across multiple positions. The Amphikrabi has successfully moved up to 17, after overtaking Drenone. The two are now engaged in a continuous battle for that position, with the Amphikrabi holding the lead for now. Meanwhile, Pharaoh 23 and Bobado are also locked in a contest, fighting for P26. The dynamics of these matchups could shift rapidly as the race progresses. Neo-Texum has taken the lead, moving up to Pone after executing a successful overtake on Okeoki 3 from Team Racing Potatoes. The battle for the top position between Neo-Texum and Okeoki 3 is intensifying as they continue to jockey for position in this critical phase of the race. Meanwhile, Sir Ironbot has advanced to Pate, making an overtaking maneuver on Garnet Rod. The dynamics are shifting as these AI-driven cars push their limits on the track. Neo-Texum has taken the lead, moving up to Pone after overtaking Okayoki 3 from Team Racing Potatoes. Captain Potato and Rizaldi Adha are locked in a tight battle for 5, while Koki Baninity has advanced to 10 by overtaking Cedric. The race dynamics are shifting rapidly as positions continue to change. Rizaldi Adha and Captain Potato are locked in a tight battle for 5th position, with both cars exchanging positions frequently as they navigate the corners. Garnet Rod is currently trying to fend off Sir Ironbot, who's applying pressure for 8th place, making it a tense duel. Meanwhile, Pharaoh 23 and Bobado are fighting for 26th, with each driver looking to gain an edge in this lower pack skirmish. All 4 battles are showcasing strategic driving and tactical overtakes as the race progresses. Neo-Texum and Okayoki 3 are currently locked in a tight battle for 1st place, both cars maintaining a close distance as they navigate the track. Amphikrabi has made significant progress, moving up to 18th position after overtaking Drenone. The two drivers are now engaged in a duel for that same 18th spot, with Drenone looking to reclaim a position. The race dynamics are intensifying as these competitors push their limits. Huggard 3 has successfully moved into 11th position, completing an overtake on Cydric. The battle for 26th position is heating up between Ferra 23 and Bobardo, with both cars closely matched in performance. Meanwhile, Kitsune Draco has gained ground, advancing to 29th by overtaking Lord of the Jungle from also No Name Racing. The race dynamics are shifting as positions change. Sirironbot has successfully moved into 8th place after overtaking Garnet Rod. Meanwhile, Wayne Trianti 4 has advanced to 12th place, getting past Hugh 3. In a close battle for 21st position, SBS Tsumi 78 in the Mercedes-Benz 154 is currently vying with Androvach in the Auto Union Type D. The tension is rising as they jostle for position. Greening Jip has made a significant move, overtaking 4 cars to secure 3rd place. Kamikaze 38 is also on the rise, gaining 4 positions to reach 20th. Meanwhile, Hubid 3 from Team Naf Gung Kings is facing difficulties, dropping 6 spots and now sitting in 24th place. Paulo Costanini is currently engaged in a tight duel with Rafael for the 9th position, while Rafael is also fending off pressure from Iantha Krabi, who is vying for 10th. Meanwhile, Sirironbot from Team Death Robots is making significant progress, reducing the gap to Okayoki 3 by 4.5 seconds, indicating a potential for an overtake if this momentum continues. Paulo Costanini has made an impressive move, overtaking 4 cars and positioning themselves at Fowler. Following closely, Aminat Krabi has also gained momentum, overtaking 6 cars to secure 5. Meanwhile, Rafael is not far behind, overtaking 4 cars to take 6. The battle for positions is intensifying as these drivers push their limits. Garnet Rod has executed a remarkable series of overtakes, moving up 4 positions to claim 5. Meanwhile, Iantha Krabi is experiencing difficulties and has dropped back 7 spots to P11. Paulo Costanini is also struggling, having fallen back 14 positions to P19. Andrzejek has made a significant move, overtaking 6 cars and advancing to position 16. Dufdat also shows impressive pace, gaining 7 positions to reach P21. Fourier 23 is not far behind, making 5 overtakes to climb to P29. The midfield is getting competitive as drivers push for better placements. Hey, Freewick. Welcome back to the racetrack. Automobile dashing. Are we ready to see some AI cars zoom by? Let's go. Ferry 23 has made significant progress, reducing the gap to Amy from Team Death Robots by 568.3 seconds, and is gaining momentum. Meanwhile, Kamikaze 38 is also closing in on Ahmed Prabi, with a gap reduction of 594.5 seconds. Following closely behind, SBS Sima 78 is narrowing the distance to Kamikaze 38 by 596.6 seconds. The competition is tightening as these drivers push their limits. Winzerius Guy and Okayoki 3 are locked in a tight battle for P3, with Winzerius Guy in the Auto Union Type D, making some aggressive moves against Okayoki 3 in the Type C. Meanwhile, Rizaldi Audha is fighting to maintain 7 against Captain Potato. In other news, Zydrek from Team Live for Speed has successfully overtaken Hugger 3 from Team Nafgom Kings, advancing to P11. The dynamics on the track are heating up as these positions fluctuate. Koki Bininity and Sirironbot are currently locked in a tight battle for 9th position. Meanwhile, Hilgert 3 has successfully overtaken Cedric to climb into 11th place. This has set up an ongoing struggle between Hilgert 3 and Cedric for that position, with both drivers looking to regain the upper hand. Captain Potato is gaining on Wazirius Guy, reducing the gap to 7.8 seconds. Meanwhile, Amy from Team Death Robots is also closing in on HU11792, now just 7 seconds behind. Paula Costanin is making strides as well, narrowing the distance to Kitsuna Draco by 15.8 seconds. The dynamics are shifting as these drivers push for position. Ferrari 23 has significantly closed the gap to Etiona 1792 from Team Blue Star, now down to 35.3 seconds. Meanwhile, Groningen and Rizaldi Adha are locked in a tight fight for 7th place. In another duel for 8th, Rizaldi Adha is driving the Auto Union Type D, while Koki Binati pilots the Mercedes-Benz 125. The competition is heating up as these drivers push their limits. Kamikaze 38 is making significant progress, reducing the gap to Ferrari 23 by 5 seconds. Grenadier has successfully moved into 7 after overtaking Rizaldi Adha. Meanwhile, Wayne 94 has advanced to P9, having passed Sirayrumbot Tutoy. The positioning on the track is becoming quite dynamic as these cars jockey for better placements. Koki Beninity and Sirayrumbot are locked in a tight battle for pen, exchanging positions frequently. Renon has successfully moved up to 17 after overtaking Andreve, while Maya has gained ground as well, now in P25 after passing Lord of the Jungle. The competition remains fierce as the drivers jockey for position. Koki Beninity and Sirayrumbot continue their intense battle for pen, with neither driver giving an inch as they navigate the corners. Amy has successfully overtaken Maya, moving up to P23. In response, Maya from Team Death Robots has regained some ground, overtaking Obelix to move back up to P24. The positions are shifting rapidly as the race progresses. Cyrenever is rapidly closing in on Andrade, reducing the gap by 56.9 seconds. In the meantime, Wazirius Guy has made an impressive move into Pfau, overtaking Garnet Rod. The battle for that position continues as Wazirius Guy, piloting Auto Union Type D, is now under pressure from Garnet Rod in the Mercedes-Benz 125. Sirayrumbot is currently in pen after successfully overtaking her Godfrey, who has dropped to P11. In a rapid shift of positions, Godfrey then managed to overtake Cedric, placing Cedric in P12 Dartier. Meanwhile, Cedric executed an overtaking maneuver on Rizaldi Adha, maintaining their advancement in the rankings, while Rizaldi Adha falls behind. The competition remains intense as these positions continue to fluctuate. Rezaldi Ada has dropped significantly, now in P22, after losing 8 positions. Cookie Benenity and Sir Ironbot are engaged in a tight battle for P9, with neither giving an inch. Meanwhile, Sir Ironbot is also contending with Huggard 3 from Nafgum Kings for Pen, indicating a critical juncture in the race as these positions are fiercely contested. The dynamics are shifting rapidly as the cars navigate through the turns. Maya continues to gain on Amy, significantly reducing the gap, now down to 574.8 seconds. In the battle for Pen, Sir Ironbot and Huggard 3 are closely contesting, with positions changing frequently as they execute strategic overtakes. Both drivers are showing impressive defensive and offensive tactics. The race is intensifying as these dynamics unfold. Sir Ironbot is currently ahead of Huggard 3 in their battle for Pen, maintaining a narrow gap as they navigate through the chicane. Both cars are showing consistent speed, but it looks like Sir Ironbot has the edge with a better exit off the corner. Meanwhile, Lord of the Jungle from Team, also No Name Racing, is closely followed by Obelixomax in their fight for P24. Obelixomax is trying to find an opportunity to overtake, but Lord of the Jungle is defending well, using the racing line effectively to maintain position. The tension is building in both battles as they head into the next section of the track. One serious guy is gaining on Okayoki 3 from Team Racing Potatoes, reducing the gap by 10 seconds. Drinon is making impressive progress, overtaking 7 cars and securing Pate. Meanwhile, Amphikrabby is also closing in on Lord of the Jungle, cutting the gap down by 11.4 seconds. Wunziri Sky has successfully moved into P2 after overtaking Nukambukambokun. Drinon is making significant progress, closing in on Garnet Rod by 2.5 seconds. Meanwhile, Cedric has advanced to P9, having overtaken Sir Ironbot. Kitsune Draco is significantly closing the gap to Amphikrabby, now just 486.2 seconds behind. Meanwhile, Greninja has successfully executed an overtake on Waintron 94, moving up to 4th position. Sir Ironbot has also made a move, advancing to 10th place after overtaking Huggard 3. The race dynamics are shifting as we progress. Serious Guy has significantly reduced the gap to Neo Texum, now trailing by just 7.3 seconds. Meanwhile, Nukem Bochum is also making a move, with only a 6.9 second difference between them and Serious Guy. On the other hand, Greninja is struggling and has dropped back to P12, losing 8 positions in the process. Nukem Bochum has significantly closed the gap on Neo Texum from Team Nafgum Kings, reducing the distance by 8.6 seconds. Meanwhile, Okiyoki 3 from Team Racing Potatoes is also making progress, cutting down the time to Waintra 94 by 3.8 seconds. The race dynamics are shifting, with these two drivers gaining ground on their respective targets. Garnet Rod has successfully moved up to 5 after overtaking Waintra 94. Sirarimbot is closing in on Waintra 94, reducing the gap by 2.6 seconds. Meanwhile, Aetion 1792 is also making progress, catching up to Wadek with a 2-second reduction in their gap. All. Obelix Zermax has successfully overtaken Lord of the Jungle, moving up to P18. There's currently a close battle between Obelix Zermax and Lord of the Jungle for that position, indicating a potential for more action ahead. Meanwhile, Kitsune Draco has gained ground, moving up to P24 after overtaking Amy. The race continues to develop with these position shifts as the AI-driven cars jockey for better placements on the track. Captain Potato is now closing in on Amy, reducing the gap by 222.6 seconds. Meanwhile, Garnet Rod in the Mercedes-Benz 125 is locked in a fierce battle with Waintra 94, who's piloting the Auto Union Type D, for 5th place. In a separate contest, Lord of the Jungle and Obelix Zermax are battling for 18th position, both trying to gain an advantage. The race dynamics are tightening as these drivers push their limits. Cedric has successfully moved into 6th after overtaking Sirarimbot. Hubbard 3 has also made progress, now in P8 following an overtake on Wadek. Wadek, in turn, has advanced to P9 by overtaking Waintra 94. The positions are shifting as the race continues. SBS Sume 78 is now just 37.9 seconds behind Polo Kostanin, clearly gaining ground. Meanwhile, Iamthacrabi is making significant progress, cutting down the gap to Koki Beninity by an impressive 232.9 seconds. In a notable move, Aetion 1792 has successfully overtaken Waintra 94, moving up to position 10. The race dynamics are intensifying as the laps progress. Garnet Rod is making significant progress, reducing the gap to Okayoki 3 by 18.1 seconds. Aetion 1792 is also gaining ground on Wadik, with a reduced gap of 5.9 seconds now. Meanwhile, Polo Kostanin is catching up to Obelix Amax, closing the distance by 8.9 seconds. The competition is tightening, as these drivers push for better positions. Zydrek has significantly closed the gap to Garnet Rod, now just 7.5 seconds behind. Meanwhile, Okayoki 3 has successfully overtaken Serious Guy, moving up to P3 in the standings. The dynamics are shifting as Zydrek continues to push forward. Polo Kostanin is making significant progress, reducing the gap to Obelix Amax by 7 seconds. The pursuit continues as they navigate through the track. Obelix Amax remains in the lead, but will need to maintain focus as Polo Kostanin gains momentum. Koki Beninity is now only 2.3 seconds behind Kitsune Draco, showing impressive pace and consistency. In the previous lap, Koki Beninity set a personal best time, while Kitsune Draco struggled slightly with tire wear. The pressure is on as Koki Beninity looks to make an overtaking maneuver. Meanwhile, third-place driver, Speedster 88, is maintaining a steady distance, but is also watching the battle closely. Hey Dasu 321? Welcome back to the racetrack? Automobile dashing away, we missed your racing spirit. Buckle up and enjoy the AI action. Captain Potato is decreasing the distance to Siren Eva, now just 38.5 seconds separating them. Assetto 1792 has successfully moved into 14th place, overtaking Kazushuk. The battle for 14th continues as Assetto 1792, in the Auto Union Type D, maintains a slight edge over Kazushuk, in the Alfa Romeo 12 Dot. Neo-Texum and Nukembokum are side by side as they approach the first turn. Neo-Texum takes an inside line, but Nukembokum maintains his position on the outside. Coming out of the turn, Neo-Texum manages to edge ahead slightly, reclaiming the lead. Meanwhile, in the midfield, Karks is making a strong move on Speedster 22, pulling off an overtake on the inside as they enter the chicane. Speedster 22 tries to fight back but is unable to regain the position. At the back of the pack, Driftking is gaining ground, closing in on Tabotuna, looking for an opportunity to slip past. The dynamics are intensifying as the cars jockey for position. Holocaustinian and SBS Sumi 78 are engaged in a tight battle for 21st position. Holocaustinian makes a move on the inside at turn 5, gaining a slight advantage. However, SBS Sumi 78 responds quickly, taking the outside line at turn 6 to maintain proximity. They are now side by side heading into turn 7, with Holocaustinian staying just ahead by a nose. The competition is fierce as they approach the next corner. AI Fail from Team Blast is making significant progress, reducing the gap to Greninja by 5.5 seconds. Sirarambot has successfully moved up to position 5 after overtaking Garnet Rod. Meanwhile, Waintra 94 is also gaining on Wadek, narrowing the distance by 2.1 seconds. Yanthakrabi has reduced the gap to Koki Vanility by 6.2 seconds, putting pressure on the leader. Okiyoki 3 is making steady progress, slicing down the distance to Neo-Texan by 4.1 seconds. Meanwhile, Waintra 94 is gaining ground on Garnet Rod, closing the gap by 2.30 seconds. The competition is tightening as drivers push their limits. Cargo 3 is gaining on Sirironbot, reducing the lead by 5.3 seconds as they approach a tight corner. Meanwhile, Lord of the Jungle is making significant progress, narrowing the gap to Kazishuk by 11.5 seconds. In a notable move, Neo-Texan has successfully overtaken Okayoki 3, moving up to second position. The dynamics are shifting as we progress through the race. SBS Tsume 78 has significantly reduced the gap to Obelix by 35.2 seconds, indicating a strong pace. Cedric is also making progress, closing in on Wayne 24 with a reduction of 3.4 seconds. Meanwhile, Gunindab has made an impressive move up to P11 by overtaking Wadek. The race dynamics are shifting as these drivers push for better positions. Garnet Rod is making significant progress, now just 4.3 seconds behind Okayoki 3 Dora T. The battle for P21 is heating up between Obelix in the Alfa Romeo 12X and Polo Costanin in the Mercedes-Benz 154. Both drivers are closely matched. Meanwhile, Amiatsu Krabi has successfully overtaken Koki Beninati, advancing to P24. The dynamics on the track are shifting as drivers jockey for position. Nukem Bochum has significantly closed the gap to Neo-Texan, now just 2.30 seconds apart. As they approach the next corner, it will be interesting to see if Nukem Bochum can make a move for position. Meanwhile, Hago 3 and Sirironbot are locked in a tight battle for 8th place. Both cars seem evenly matched, with no clear advantage at this moment. Just behind them, Sirironbot is also fending off pressure from Junon for 9th position, creating an intense two-car duel. Sirironbot in the Mercedes-Benz 125 is currently maintaining his line against Junon in the 154, making for an exciting dynamic as they race neck and neck. Okayoki 3 is making significant progress, reducing the gap to Nukem Bochum by 6.6 seconds. Meanwhile, Garnet Rod is also gaining on Wazirius Guy, closing that distance by 33 seconds. In another battle, Greninjib is narrowing the gap to Arafio by 12.8 seconds. The race dynamics are shifting as these contenders push forward. Etienne 1792 is now just 5.3 seconds behind Waintra 94, significantly reducing the distance. Aya Raphael has also gained ground on Drenone, bringing the gap down to 7.9 seconds. Meanwhile, Nukambokum is making a strong push, closing in on Neotexum by 2.5 seconds. The dynamics are shifting as these drivers accelerate towards their targets. Rainier has successfully moved up to 14 after executing a clean overtake on Arafael. This marks a notable advancement in the rankings for Grainingeb as the race continues to unfold. Current lap dynamics suggest that the competition is intensifying in this midfield battle. Cedric from Team Live for Speed is making significant progress, reducing the gap to Garnet Rod by 4.1 seconds. This puts Cedric in a strong position to challenge for a potential overtake soon. Meanwhile, Garnet Rod needs to find some extra pace to fend off this pursuit. The dynamics are shifting as Cedric continues to apply pressure. Holocostanine has advanced to 20th position after a successful overtake on Obelixamax. Meanwhile, Obelixamax has responded by climbing to 21st place, overtaking SBS Suma 78 in the process. The positions are shifting as the race continues. Holocostanine has significantly reduced the gap to Bobado, now trailing by 15.6 seconds. Obelixamax is also gaining on Holocostanine, with the distance decreasing to 7.7 seconds. Meanwhile, Nukambokum is making a move on Neotexum, closing in by 4.30 seconds. The race dynamics are shifting as these drivers push to catch their competitors. Cookie Bananity is currently in pursuit of Holocostanine, significantly reducing the distance by 490.5 seconds. Meanwhile, Kitsumi Draco is also gaining ground on Cookie Bananity, narrowing the gap by 565.8 seconds. In another battle, Hugor 3 is closing in on Cedric, with a reduction of just 2.2 seconds. The dynamics among these races are shifting as they jockey for position. Cedric is making significant progress, reducing the gap to Garnet Rod by 5.6 seconds. Meanwhile, Cookie Bananity is also gaining on Holocostanine, cutting down the distance by 12.2 seconds. Kitsune Draco is closing in on Cookie Bananity, decreasing the gap by 8.7 seconds. The race dynamics are shifting as these drivers push for better positions. Holocaustonine is making significant progress, reducing the gap to Lord of the Jungle by 564.3 seconds. Meanwhile, Garnet Rod has advanced to P4 after successfully overtaking Cedric, who has now dropped to P5. Cedric, however, has retaliated and moved back up to P5 by overtaking Huggard 3. The positions are shifting rapidly as the race dynamics continue to evolve. Garnet Rod has significantly closed the gap to Wazirius Guy, now just 5.6 seconds behind. Gobardo is also making a move, reducing his distance to Lord of the Jungle by 563.5 seconds, while Holocaustonine is trailing Gobardo, and has cut the deficit down by 599.4 seconds. The dynamics in the midfield are definitely heating up as we observe these shifts in position. AI Raphael has successfully advanced to Pen after executing an overtaking maneuver on Maya. In response, Maya has climbed to P11 by overtaking Kazashuk. Meanwhile, Kazashuk has also gained a position, now holding P12 after overtaking Huggard 3. The race remains competitive as these drivers jockey for better placements. Obelix Sarmax has gained a position, moving up to P13 after successfully overtaking Huggard 3 from Team Nafgum Kings. This shift highlights Obelix Sarmax's strategic maneuvering on track. Lord of the Jungle has successfully moved into P15 after overtaking Huggard 3. The maneuver was clean, showcasing precise timing, as Lord of the Jungle took advantage of the corner entry. Aetium 1792 has significantly reduced the distance to Waintra 94, now trailing by just 3.1 seconds. Meanwhile, SBS Sume 78 is also making notable progress, cutting down the gap to Obelix Sarmax by 3.4 seconds. Both pairs of drivers are showing increased pace as the race continues. Kitsune Draco is making significant progress, reducing the gap to Huggard 3 to 95.9 seconds. Meanwhile, Wayne94 from Wangan Midnight Runners has successfully overtaken Sirironbot, advancing to position 6. In a notable move, Nukem Bookham has also climbed to P19 after passing Hagub 3. The race dynamics continue to shift as positions change rapidly. Alpha A has reduced the gap to Sirironbot by 30.3 seconds, indicating a significant gain in position. Okeoki 3 from Racing Potatoes is making progress as well, narrowing the distance to Neotexum by 2.5 seconds. Meanwhile, Cydrek from Live for Speed is also on the move, closing in on Garnet Rod by 5 seconds. The race is tightening up as competitors push to improve their standings. One Sky has significantly closed the gap to Neotexum, now just 3.6 seconds behind. In the battle for P13, SBS Sumi78 in the Mercedes-Benz 154 is closely contesting with Obelixamax in the Alfa Romeo 12 Vec.E. Meanwhile, Siren Ever has made progress, moving up to P22 after successfully overtaking Wadek. The positions are shifting as the race continues. Neotexum has just taken the lead, moving into pole after overtaking Okeoki 3 Taurus. Meanwhile, One Sky is making significant progress, closing in on Okeoki 3 with a gap reduction of 6.1 seconds. The race dynamics are shifting as One Sky continues to gain ground. Garnet Rod has significantly decreased the gap to One Sky by a remarkable 530.5 seconds. Meanwhile, Lord of the Jungle is also making strides, closing in on Obelixamax with a reduction of 2.1 seconds. The competition is heating up as these drivers push their limits on the track. Wayne94 has successfully moved up to 5 after overtaking Garnet Rod. Occupying and Dooney Pews. SBS Sumi78 is making progress, narrowing the gap to Kazashuk by 2.6 seconds. Bilbardo has also made a move, advancing to 17 after overtaking Paula Costani. Currently, 3 from Team Racing Potatoes is in pole after a successful overtake on Neotexum. Sirironbot from Death Robots has advanced to 6, overtaking Wayne94. Meanwhile, Kamikaze 38 has climbed to P31 by overtaking Rizaldi, Adia.Dol. The race continues to see dynamic changes in positions. Lord of the Jungle is aggressively closing in on Barbardo, reducing the gap to 68.4 seconds. Meanwhile, Rafael has successfully moved up to Sivan, after overtaking Kedzishuk. In response, Kedzishuk has also advanced to Pate by overtaking Waintra 94. The race dynamics are shifting as positions change rapidly. SBS Suma 78 has effectively reduced the gap to Garnet Rod, now sitting at 124.5 seconds. Meanwhile, Sireneva is making significant progress on Kitsune Draco, closing in by 408.8 seconds. Greening Jeb is also gaining on Captain Potato from Team Racing Potatoes, with a much tighter gap of just 25.5 seconds. The race dynamics are shifting as these drivers make their moves. Neo-Texum continues to close the gap on Okiyoki 3, now down to 5.5 seconds. SBS Suma 78 has successfully overtaken Cedric and has moved up to position 9. Sirironbot has significantly reduced the gap to Wazirius Guy from Team No Name Racing, now trailing by just 496.5 seconds. Meanwhile, Koki Beninity is making a strong move to catch up with Nakembukam, decreasing the distance by 33 seconds. Additionally, Kitsune Draco is also gaining on Paulo Costanin, closing the gap by 52.3 seconds. The race dynamics are tightening as these competitors push to improve their positions. Maya has made significant progress, closing the gap to Kadzishuk from Team S1 by 7.4 seconds. Meanwhile, Wadek is working hard to catch up to Captain Potato, reducing their distance by an impressive 208 seconds. The competition is heating up as Maya continues to gain on Kadzishuk, maintaining her momentum. The positioning remains dynamic as these drivers strategize their next moves. Suma 78 is currently in pursuit of Kadzishuk, managing to close the gap by 3.2 seconds. Meanwhile, Bobardo is also making progress, reducing the distance to Obelixamax by 3.9 seconds. Both drivers are gaining momentum as they push for better positions on the track. One serious guy has significantly reduced the gap to Neo Texum, now trailing by just 2.3 seconds. The pace is heating up as they head into the next turn. Meanwhile, behind them, a battle is brewing between Pixel Pilot and Driftmaster, with Pixel Pilot attempting an overtake on the inside lane. Amy is currently in pursuit of Kamikaze 38, significantly reducing the gap by 1866.5 seconds. Meanwhile, Polo Costanin is gaining on Sarineva, shortening the distance by 2.1 seconds. This dynamic shift indicates a potential for an exciting overtaking maneuver in the upcoming laps. The positions are intensifying as the race continues. SBS Summer 78 has significantly reduced the gap to Kazushuk, now only trailing by 23 seconds. Meanwhile, Nukambukum is also making progress, with a 2.2 second gap to Bobardo. The race dynamics are tightening, as both SBS Summer 78 and Nukambukum are pushing hard for those overtakes. SBS Summer 78 has made significant progress, now just 6.6 seconds behind Kazushuk. Meanwhile, Bobardo is also putting in the effort, reducing the gap to Obelix by 32 seconds. On a different note, Wayne Train 94 is working hard to catch up to Cedric, but there's a substantial gap of 445.2 seconds to close. Neo Texum has taken the lead, moving up to Pone after overtaking Okayoki 3. Meanwhile, Wazirius guys closing in on Okayoki 3 from Team Racing Potatoes, reducing the gap significantly by 522.8 seconds. The dynamics are shifting as the race continues to unfold. That was a brilliant move. Way to hustle your way to the top. Let's see if he can hold on to that ledge. Polo Costanin is gaining on Sarinov, with the gap now reduced to 7.1 seconds. Meanwhile, Wayne Trinity 4 is also making a move on Cedric, closing that distance significantly by 545.8 seconds. Aharafe is pursuing Ationa's 1792 and has closed the gap by 3.2 seconds. The race dynamics continue to shift as these drivers push for position. Bobardo is currently in a strong position, reducing the gap to SBS to Miss 78 by 7.4 seconds. Koki Benelli, from Team Blast, is also making moves, narrowing the distance to Bobardo by 8.6 seconds. Meanwhile, Ationa 1792 is closing in on Sir Ironbot, with a reduction of 2.6 seconds. The race dynamics are shifting as these drivers push their limits. Winzeria's Guy is gaining on New Texum, cutting the gap significantly by 531.1 seconds. Aya Raphael is also making a move, narrowing the distance to Ation 1792 by 5.2 seconds. Meanwhile, Nukem Bochum is closing in on Obelix Sumax, reducing the gap by 11.1 seconds. The dynamics are shifting as these drivers push their limits. Ation 1792 has made significant progress, now just 2.7 seconds behind Sir Ironbot as the gap continues to close. In the midfield, Nukembukan has successfully overtaken Obelixamax, advancing to Pate. Meanwhile, Bobardo has moved up to Pen after overtaking Lord of the Jungle. The race dynamics are shifting as positions change. Serious Guy from No Name Racing has made significant progress, cutting down the gap to Neotexan by 6.7 seconds. Meanwhile, Okayoki 3 has also closed in on Waziria's Guy, reducing their distance by 7.6 seconds. Additionally, Maya is gaining ground on Ayarafail, with a reduction of 10.3 seconds. The race is intensifying as these drivers push their limits. Hey, Midnight Oceanibus! Welcome to the stream. Party Popper, we're watching some intense racing action featuring AI-driven cars on the Monza Vintage Oval track right now. It's super exciting and every race is unpredictable. Feel free to jump in with your questions or comments. And if you want to chat with me, just say hey Amy. I'm here for all your racing needs. Enjoy the show. Automobile dashing away. Winzeria's Guy has significantly reduced the gap to Neotexan by 41.6 seconds, indicating a strong push as they approach the next turn. Meanwhile, Hubert 3 is making an impressive effort to catch up with Kazushuk, but the gap remains substantial at 584.9 seconds. Winzeria's Guy continues to apply pressure on Neotexan. maintaining a steady pace as they close in. Race dynamics are shifting as the competition intensifies in these key matchups. Bot from Team Def Robots has significantly reduced the gap to Okayoki 3, now trailing by just 503 seconds. Meanwhile, Obelix Samax is also making strides, closing in on Maya with a gap of 527 seconds. Additionally, Wayne24 is working to catch up to Cydric, currently behind by 910 seconds. The dynamics are shifting as these positions adjust. Bot from Team Def Robots is currently gaining on Okayoki 3, reducing the time difference to 39.6 seconds. Meanwhile, Sireneva is making significant progress on Koki Beninity, cutting the gap down by 32.4 seconds. In a separate battle, Cydric is attempting to close the gap to Captain Potato, but it stands at a considerable 369.9 seconds. The dynamics are shifting as these drivers push to improve their positions. Maya has significantly reduced the gap to Rafael, now down to 7.5 seconds. Wadek is also making progress, closing in on Garnet Rod by 12.4 seconds. The competition is tightening as Maya continues her pursuit of Rafael. Kalsashuk is making significant progress, reducing the gap to Polokostanin by 14.2 seconds. Meanwhile, Maya is closing in on Rafael with a gap reduction of 2.4 seconds. Bilbardo is also gaining ground, narrowing the distance to Nukem Bokum by 2.2 seconds. The race dynamic is shifting as these competitors intensify their efforts. Kitsune Draco is now just 38.5 seconds behind SBS Sume 78, showing significant pace as they narrow the gap rapidly. Meanwhile, Rafael is closing in on AT1 1792, reducing their distance by 2.1 seconds. Nukem Bokum is also making progress, cutting the gap to Obelix Samax by 2.7 seconds. The competition is tightening in these key battles. Cydric from Team Live for Speed is making significant progress, reducing the gap to Wadek by 552.9 seconds. indicating a strong push forward. Bobado has successfully moved up to 9th place after overtaking Nukambokem. The race dynamics are shifting as Cedric continues to apply pressure on Wadek, while Bobado's move showcases the competitive nature of the field. Serious Guy is still holding the lead, but Okayoki 3 is making a strong push and has closed the gap by 11.2 seconds. Meanwhile, Law the Jungle is also gaining on Nukambokem, reducing their distance by 36.5 seconds. The dynamics are shifting as both chasers are working to improve their positions. Hudeg 3 has significantly reduced the gap to Kazashuk, now trailing by only 2.1 seconds. The pace is picking up as Hugget 3 seems to be in a strong rhythm, potentially setting up for an overtaking maneuver soon. Meanwhile, Kazashuk will need to defend their position carefully to maintain the lead. Hey Charter! Welcome back to the raceway. Party Popper, we miss your cheering. Ready to see some high-speed AI shenanigans? Automobile dashing away, let's rev it up. Serious Guy is currently in P2, closely pursued by Okayoki 3. The Auto Union Type D, driven by Serious Guy, is maintaining a slight advantage over the Auto Union Type C of Okayoki 3 Toei. They are both navigating the corners with precision, and Okayoki 3 is looking for an opportunity to overtake. As they head into the next straight, Okayoki 3 is gaining ground, utilizing slipstream effectively. Serious Guy is defensive, taking a tighter line through the corner to protect his position. It's a close contest as they exit the turn. Okayoki 3 is right on his tail now, preparing for a potential dive at the next corner. This battle for P2 is heating up, with both drivers showcasing impressive control and strategy as they jostle for position. SBS Tsuma 78 is gaining on Captain Potato, reducing the gap to 34 seconds. Meanwhile, Duff Dad is pursuing Rizaldi Adha, but still has a significant distance of 3,107.2 seconds to close. In a tighter battle, Nukambokem is closing in on Bobado, now just 3.3 seconds behind. Oblate Samax is currently gaining on Maya, with the gap narrowed to 530.5 seconds. OKOK3 has successfully moved into P2 after overtaking with Sirius Guy. Now, OKOK3 and with Sirius Guy are engaged in a close battle for that second position. OKOK3 is in an Auto Union Type C, while Sirius Guy is driving the Auto Union Type D. The dynamics between these two cars will be crucial as they navigate the track. OKOK3 has made significant progress, reducing the gap to Neo Texum by 530.1 seconds. Wadic is also gaining ground, now just 8.1 seconds behind SBS Suma 78. The race dynamics are shifting as both competitors push hard for overtakes.